celebrate 25 years of Shire activism in the healthcare field. My name is Marsha Edwards. I am standing in for our board member Sheila Thorne, who was unfortunately delayed in the Big Easy. So we're going to keep moving. Wish her well. She'll be with us remotely. I'm going to ask, because we are running a little behind schedule, that Reverend Robin Cupid come now to give us the invitation.
I think I'm tall enough, I don't need to. Let us pray. Most holy, all-wise, eternal God, our Father, we thank you for the opportunity that we have to assemble ourselves together. We thank you for Shire. We thank you for Summit Health Institute for Research and Education. We thank you for what it has meant to so many, the kind of things that have happened, the kind of disparities that have been met, the kind of dots that have been connected, the kind of ways that you have brought about change. We thank you for Ms. Ruth Perot. We thank you for her work, her willingness to serve as an anvil for this work and not be greatly moved by the tides that have come against her, God. But you have held her strong, and she, in her strength, has moved forward, even through difficult situations, to create opportunity for others, not just herself, to be better. And we thank you for that. We thank you for this entire organization, all of those who are a part and who represent it. And we pray that you would continue to strengthen and give them the wherewithal and the wisdom to do what you have destined for them to do. We pray now for this time that you would be with us, that you would give us a heart of celebration as we move forward and look at the kind of work that has been done. Thank you for the team. Thank you for all of those who make this happen. We especially are grateful to see Ms. Canary here, God. We realize all the health challenges that she has faced even in this time, but she's here. And so we thank you. We ask that you would keep us in your care as only you can. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend. We are going to proceed a little bit differently than we had planned because our speaker has to leave for another engagement, and we want to have a chance to hear from her. Having held multiple positions of leadership during the past 2 decades, Ms. Dale has worked with a broad group of stakeholders to address policies and other key factors impacting the delivery of healthcare services. In addition to addressing the range of needs experienced by the nation's vulnerable populations, Ms. Dale has cultivated a focus that has helped AmeriHealth Caritas concurrently innovate while meeting the highest standards of quality and service. Ms. Dale holds a Master of Science degree in Psychiatric Mental Health Nursing from the Catholic University, Washington, D.C., and a Bachelor of Science degree in Nursing from George Mason University in Fairfax, Virginia. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to our keynote speaker, Karen M. Dale, RM, Master of Science in Nursing, Market President, AmeriHealth Caritas, D.C., Chief of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer.
Good evening. This is low. We're going to test my eyesight. See if I can read from here. I am thankful to be here. I'm thankful that each of you is here as well to join us in celebrating Shire's 25th anniversary. It's a silver anniversary. Celebrations are important. I was reading a blog post recently that cited research on the importance of taking time to stop, notice, and acknowledge our successes with celebration. In positive psychology, the process of savoring, noticing, appreciating, and enhancing positive experiences is often used to increase feelings of self-worth and overall life satisfaction by expanding people's thoughts and behaviors, promoting creativity, social connection, and resilience. The bottom line is it's important to our mental health, self-care, happiness, and motivation to celebrate. So take a moment to be present in this space and time. Take a moment to savor the spirit of celebration. So what are we celebrating? We are celebrating the leadership of Shire of Ruth Perot. Shire's journey began with a clear and compelling purpose to work to eradicate health disparities, achieve health equity, and help communities of color attain optimal health. Shire aimed as leaders often do to move us from what we've been to what we will be. Ruth spoke up and challenged the status quo of the disproportionately high rates of diabetes in Ward 8. She was also an agent of positive change by implementing wellness circles with a message that you can be well, though you may have been diagnosed with diabetes, hypertension, and/or high cholesterol. The keys to success involved participants learning about their condition, identifying what lifestyle changes were needed to improve their condition, and being their own advocates. What was also really wonderful was how they wrapped around each participant a circle of support. Finally, there was always celebration to recognize milestones of improvement and attendance. Having attended some of those sessions, I have to tell you, all the good endorphins were flowing. People were laughing, feeling good about their progress. We're also celebrating the tenacity, courage, and purpose that motivated Ruth for what was ahead. In order to make progress in serving the community, she knew that we would need to go to scale and success by working in partnership. We know that our energy and our ability to inspire others works best when we have a common why. And I'm really pleased that Shire and AmeriHealth Caritas shared a clear and compelling purpose to positively impact our community and improve health outcomes. And that compelling purpose that we share is equity, broadly, and health equity. Why? Our nation and its communities are more resilient when every human being, is included, especially those who are underrepresented and are part of marginalized groups. We need to focus on how we help them to be healthy and financially secure. And we know that systemic racism is often at the root of the inequities we see in many aspects of life for communities of color. These communities experience mounting barriers and unfair treatment in our nation's housing, education, judicial, economic, and healthcare systems. The chronic, unrelenting physical and mental toll of living under these conditions creates the poor health outcomes. And so we must always acknowledge that it is not the person and the choices that they've made, it is the systems and the lack of choices they have. And the pandemic certainly taught us that our health is inextricably linked to that of people in every place and space we spend time. We must remember these lessons and think about how we carry them forward. Health equity is the right thing to do. However, there's also a solid business case as well. Financial analysts say that we might narrowly avoid a recession in 2023. Unemployment doesn't look too bad, and other things are positive indicators, but what we know is that for communities of color, they will always be feeling the negative effects and the magnified effects of what the pandemic caused. And so more work to be done to support and help those people who are negatively impacted in a way that destroys their health. And we need to recognize that there are solutions like the wellness circles, that are interventions that should be broadly funded, recognized, and celebrated. The business case is important because sometimes people ask me, well, why? You know, why are you doing these wellness circles? And we've been doing it for a long time. And so I think it's important to be grounded in the facts of how healthcare works and what the costs are. In the US, we spend more per person on health than comparable countries. Our health spending per person in the US was, in 2019, $10,966, which was 42% higher than Switzerland, the country with the next highest per capita spending. On average, other wealthy countries spend about half as much per person on health than the US. Our gap in differences between health spending as a share of the economy is really, in the past 5 decades, growing and growing and growing. And what differs between us and other countries is how much they invest in the conditions that affect human beings and their health and their outcomes. So there's real opportunity there and a real business case beyond it being the right thing to do. In 2019, we spent 17% of our GDP on health consumption, whereas the next closest country spent 12%. So work to be done to recognize and lift up and celebrate these programs and vote, right? Think about how we vote and how it impacts those who need services and supports the most. So I am celebrating Shire's vision, how broadly, how consistently they have invested and supported our community. The partnership between Shire and AmeriHealth Caritas is certainly also worthy of celebration. And I want to highlight the description I'm borrowing from the Brookings Institute, which describes these types of partnerships as connective tissue. They say that an infrastructure, the connective tissue is an infrastructure supporting frequent and systemic level collaboration to help form the partnership and hold it together over time. Connective tissue is a way of describing the infrastructure needed to support intentional alignment, coordination, and integration between sectors or organizations that serve the same or similar populations in a community. I can't think of a more apt description of how we have worked together over time. Collaborating, innovating, testing, trying, and doing it over and over again, such that we've been able to scale the program. When we started, it was just working with Ruth, and then she so generously gave her time for us to be able to have other cohorts occurring at the same time. And so it is in that way that we lift up a community. It is in that way that we collaborate, support each other, and make good things happen. Along the way, we've had the results measured. And I must tell you, I couldn't be more proud of how this way of doing things, engaging with human beings one by one, that wrapping around of that blanket of support has improved health outcomes. People have lost the weight, people who've been diagnosed with both diabetes and hypertension have had it well managed. And the best part of it is we've sustained those outcomes over time, right? So when people come back to get their blood work done, they are maintaining that progress. Very often, programs don't work that way, right? It doesn't last over time. And so the fact that we have longitudinal data also sets us apart. And that all goes back to the work and leadership of Ruth and her team. Amanda Gorman wrote in her poem, The Hill We Climb, she tells us, so let us leave behind a country better than the one we were left. With every breath from our bronze-pounded chest, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one. And then she kind of calls us out at the end. She says, if only we're brave enough to see it. If only we are brave enough to be it. The we she's talking about is each of us in this room, whether it's student, policymaker, advocate, insurer, public-private stakeholder, clinician, or academic. So we must keep our eyes on the horizon to create a brighter and more equitable future. I'm so proud to be a leader at AmeriHealth Caritas, where we are brave enough to see it. So proud to work with community-based organizations such as Shire, who are also brave enough to see it, so that we're helping people along their full life journey. We're giving them a sense of hope that a diagnosis doesn't need to define you. There is always a way to help lift people up and view them as having lots of agency and assets that go beyond describing them as the person with diabetes or hypertension, right? That doesn't feel good. But when we lift them up with support and education, we circle them with lots of love and positive things, right? That all those celebrations help them to have the energy to continue. And the coaches, I can't say enough about all the coaches that we've had who come back and engage with people. And if they say they're supposed to be walking, 3 days a week, they're calling them and making sure they're actually walking. And in that way, we lift people up. So when I think about the investment to be made, it doesn't have to be a huge investment, right? It needs to be a consistent investment, collaboration, partnership, and a focus on improvement. And so I'm, again, really overjoyed that for 25 years, and I expect that the next generation of leaders will move in as well to continue to support this work. We are here at AmeriHealth Caritas covering more than 120,000 district residents, and we take each of those people as important. Not a one of them is less important than the other. And so we're always looking at the ways in which we lift people up. We engage with our community because we don't have all the answers, and quite honestly, no one looks around and says, oh, my insurance company loves me, or I trust my insurance company. So we work in great partnership with community-based organizations in order to do good things. So this is our moment. This is our moment to lead by speaking up and challenging the status quo, being an agent of positive change, championing health equity, and bringing our vision, energy, and commitment to help us achieve our compelling purpose. Equity can't wait. I'm happy that in the district we are more focused on equity than ever, and that we are over several mayors, several city council members, and other stakeholders. Though we don't agree on every dot, and every line, we have had an enduring commitment, and that is worthy of celebration as well, because that has given us the fertile ground for community-based organizations to do great things. We can't rest on our laurels. We need to keep moving, going, and doing more great things. I will tell you one other thing I'm celebrating. I've been a feminist since age 10, so I can't help but point out that we need to celebrate that there's no force more powerful than a woman armed with courage and tenacity, who is determined to rise up and bring others with her. And that's how I view Ruth. Tirelessly committed, fiercely focused on doing the things that lift up her community. So we are also celebrating the leagues of support and allies like you that are here this evening, who supported this hard work, lifted her up, gave her the energy and support to keep on going. The leadership of Shire and the aspirations gained momentum and have created positive and enduring change and success. And I look forward to all the additional change that will happen with our support. And when I say our, it's certainly me as the person at AmeriHealth Caritas, but it takes a broad group, a whole village, to create the change. One last thing. I believe that when we declare our intentions out loud, we literally speak them into existence. There's a group of ancient people called the Upanishads who wrote in their text the following: you are what your deepest desire is, so your desire is, so is your intention. As your intention is, so is your will. As your will is, so is your deed. As your deed is, so is your destiny. So I want us to declare our intention. Either look to your left or your right, depending on where you're sitting, and tell them, the person next to you, I will lead the change we need. I will lead the change we need. There's accountability here, friends. There's accountability here. I am thankful again for this 25th celebration. Thankful that each of you just committed your intention out loud, and I'm expecting great things.
Thank you so much, Ms. Dale, and to you personally, and to AmeriHealth for its continued support of Shire. At this time, I'd like to ask all of you to stand as we sing, lift every voice and sing. Lift every voice and sing, till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening board. Part is 4. Remotely on the screen. Part is in Hawaii.
Aloha, dear friends and family. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. I apologize for not being there with you. I'm afraid that health issues and travel, family matters prevent me from being there. But my spirit is with you tonight. I want to thank all of you who have joined our celebration as we celebrate Shire's 25th anniversary. Remarkable. I need to thank our board members and also most particularly our leader, Ruth Perot. Ruth has been with us for almost since we began. I've known her for more than 20 years, and she actually is the reason why we are here as well, because she has put together over the years, working with our board, a program that has made differences in many lives and peoples of color. As you enjoy your meal, I wish that all of you think back over your relationships with Shire, and let's hope for another 25 years. I ask that we remember the good Lord in this holiday season. May His blessings be with you all. And on the language here in the islands, Mele Kalike Maka, Ame Haole Makahiki Ho. Aloha all. We wish you all a wonderful evening.
Very shortly, we will receive directions about how to proceed for the dinner, but before we do that, we'd like to give, I forgot. Before we do that, I'd like to give special thanks to our sponsors. The National Health IT Collaborative, AmeriHealth, Caritas, and the Association of Asian Pacific Community Health Organization. Very shortly, someone from the catering staff will come and will direct you table by table. Just hold on a few seconds. Thank you. This gentleman will have some information that will make everyone happy.
Hello. Luckily, I'm a chef that's a speaker. You all look beautiful tonight. Tonight, we're going to have a beautiful buffet and an array of vegetables and things of that nature. We have an array of cookies out there. We have beautiful drinks. You're going to love it. Okay? So to make it easy, if 2 tables can come out at a time, I don't know who the special guest is. If it was me, I would love that the special tables came first. Hello, this is Fiery Fusion Barbecue. This is Chef Stephen Bradley, and we're serving an amazing buffet of food. We have our fish slow cooked and smoked with a beautiful cream butter sauce. We also have barbecue chicken that's been slow barbecued. We got the smoke going through it, all the way down to the bone. We have a nice rice pilaf, as well as string beans, and we have a vegetarian pasta salad. We have an array of vegetable crudité. I hope that they enjoy it. We're here to serve them.
Thank you, and greetings, Shire family and friends. Let's see, I think we have a missing table.
They're coming.
On behalf of my father, Dr. Russell James Davis Sr., and my brother, Russell James Davis Jr., I'm honored to be here with you to celebrate 25 years of excellence in the healthcare community, because that's the good news. And my father was a good news and a bad news kind of guy. I remember for my 18th birthday, he said if I kept my grades up, I'd get a new car. So I worked hard, I got those grades up, and sure enough, he showed up. And he said, son, I have good news and bad news. The good news is I kept my promise, and he tossed me a pair of keys to a brand new Mercedes. And the bad news is you have to return it back to Avis by noon on Monday. Now, we lived together on 1801 Parkside Drive, which was in Rock Creek Park, the Gold Coast. And it was a tremendous atmosphere. The parties we had there were epic. And I remember I went to go visit some friends in Texas. And upon my return, he meets me at the door. Son, how was your vacation? Good, I hope. I have good news and bad news. The good news is I sold the house. The bad news is you have 2 weeks to find some place to live. And so, fast forward to Kalamazoo, Michigan, where it was cold as Dick's hat band. And I remember waking up one morning and seeing 6 feet of snow on the ground and thinking, there's no way we're gonna have school today. So I rolled back underneath the covers, and my dad burst through the door and said, good morning, son, I have good news and bad news. The good news is we're in Michigan, and they don't close schools. The bad news is you have 10 minutes to get yourself together, get on the bus, or you'll be walking. Now, during his time in Kalamazoo, Michigan, he operated an HMO, and then later returned to his roots in DC, and after operating several wellness clinics in the area, he partnered with Ruth Perot, and they created Shire. And from that moment forward, his life became an endless series of grants, fundraisers, dinner parties, and proposals. I know because I saw all of the yellow legal pads scattered all over the house. He would call me and say, son, can you stop on your way over and pick up a couple of reams of yellow legal pads and pens? I'm like, Dad, I just bought you a brand new computer laptop that has voice recognition. Why do you need legal pads? And he says to me, son, I appreciate the gesture, but that has nothing to do with the question at hand. Please bring me my legal pads. And so after all of those legal pads and all of that writing and all of those proposals and all of those dinner parties, here we are celebrating 25 years of excellence in the healthcare community, because my father dedicated and devoted his life to improving the quality of healthcare delivery to the underserved and the underrepresented in our community. That was my father's plan. And he would often ask me, well, son, what is your plan? And I would say to Shire rhetorically, Shire, what is your plan? Because if the past 25 years are any indication, Shire, your plan is working. So in closing, continue to work that plan and continue to be a beacon in this community that so needs your presence. And like my father said, continue the journey because it's worth it. Shire, thank you and congratulations.
experts in Zoom. Should have taken out stock on Zoom.
Thanks again, Clinton. We're so happy that you were able to be here. And I know that many of us have many fond memories of all the work that Dr. Davis did all of these years. Thanks again.
I can't hear you. I don't hear you.
Yes, the mic, I think it's off. Tell me somebody. All right, can you not? I think it is. And unfortunately, I'm one of those people that even when I yell, some people can't hear me. At this time, I would like to introduce Ms. Sheila Thorne, who is one of our board members. Sheila was not able to be here tonight in person, but she's with us remotely.
Evening. My name is Sheila Thorne, and I have the privilege and honor of being on the board of the Summit Health Institute for Research and Education. I'm so sorry I couldn't be with you this evening. I was looking forward to seeing some old friends and meeting new ones. But I am so excited about this 25th anniversary of Shire, and I certainly give a lot of credit to Ms. Ruth Perot, my friend, mentor, colleague, and sister. It is very important that we honor not only what Shire has done in the past, what it's doing in the present, and what it will do in the future. But none of this would have been possible if it were not for civil rights leaders and civil rights warriors who have been on the front lines of making sure that people of color who are marginalized can achieve quality health care. Now that we know that the disparities are persistent and pervasive, we are really on the road to health equity, making sure that no matter what you look like, where you come from, or what language you speak, you can achieve quality health care. It is my distinct honor and privilege to bring to you one of the other warriors that have been on the front lines of civil rights, Dr. Benjamin F. Chavis Jr. I have had the privilege and the honor of working with Dr. Chavis for more than a decade. And I know that he is as committed to healthcare and healthcare quality as much as Shire is. And he readily agreed to give you remarks about his feelings regarding Shire, its work, its leadership, and what the future holds. Many people may not know this, but Dr. Chavis has a degree in chemistry from the University of North Carolina. So he has been long-time veteran and warrior in terms of science, STEM, and quality healthcare. So it is my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Benjamin F. Chavis Jr. Welcome, Ben.
Thank you very much, Sheila Thorne, and thank you for your leadership. On behalf of the National Newspaper Publishers Association, which I'm the president and CEO, representing the Black press of America, we reach 47 million African Americans through all of our publications, 238 of them. I'm very pleased on this historic 25th anniversary of Shire to first salute Ruth Perot for her extraordinary leadership, for her extraordinary vision, for her extraordinary commitment to healthcare and to healthcare equity and to healthcare equality. So on behalf of the NNPA, we salute Shire on its 25th anniversary, and we pause to really congratulate Ruth Perot and all of those who work with her. And Sheila, thank you for your work supporting and involved in what Shire is also doing. Just let me say that one of the things that we've learned in the wake of COVID was all these pre-existing conditions that particularly disproportionately impacted underserved communities, and particularly communities of color across America. And through the good work of Shire, through the good work of Ruth Perot and others, we've found ways to mitigate and to bring greater not only awareness of the importance of quality healthcare, the importance of having more equity and equality, but we've also raised public awareness. I think we can say without any contradiction that American society is more health conscious today than ever before. And so we really have to express our words of appreciation, our words of salute to Shire for all of his great work over the last 25 years. 25 years is not a short period of time. That's
Right.
a quarter of a century. And I can say that millions of people have had their health care improved over the last 25 years because of the great work, the transformative work. And the thing I like about Shire is this collaboration. They've collaborated with a lot of healthcare scientists, healthcare innovators, healthcare researchers, and practitioners in the healthcare field. And those of us in the media, particularly African-American owned media, represented by the NNPA, we can say with great words of appreciation, great words of commendation to Shire and to Ruth Perot. We're just so pleased to have this opportunity. Wish we could be there in person, but we're speaking virtually, and just want to salute everybody there who's gathered together. And Ruth, this is especially to you. We support you, we love you, we respect you, and may God bless you with more longevity.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chavis. And I know your commitment to the condition of and the quality and longevity of life of all Americans. You started at a very young age, sitting and walking side by side with the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And clearly that, I'm sure, gave you the strength and the impetus to march on in whatever we need to do to help people of color, especially people of African heritage.
Thank you very much. And yes, and one of the things I learned at a very early age from Dr. King is the importance of persistence.
Yes.
Is the importance of not losing faith, not giving up when things are challenged. And certainly, if you look at 25 years of Shire, you see this resilience, you see this stick-to-itiveness, this perseverance. And of course, all organizations need strong leaders. And certainly Ruth Perot has really not only filled those shoes, but now up a new generation of people to be mentored by her and to be guided by her longevity and by her sense of commitment to public health, equity, and equality across America.
Thank you again, Ben. I know you're in North Carolina. You were speaking at the African American Farmers Association meeting. I'm in New Orleans, Louisiana. I was speaking about blood cancers in the African American community on the occasion of the American Society of Hematology conference here. So Shire, all of our friends of Shire, all of our sponsors and supporters, we wish we could be there with you, but we are with you in heart and mind. So thank you, Dr. Chavis, for your time this evening. And Chelsea and Marcia and Ruth, I'll turn the program back to you.
Thank you very much. God bless.
Shire's signature program has been the Wellness Circles. Let's welcome them to the stage and listen in on their conversations led by Ms. Natai Wright.
Good evening, everyone. I am going to talk about the Wellness Circles. First, I would like to offer a very special thank you to Ruth and Canary for the blessing they have been in my life. Can you hear me? Is that good? Ruth reminded me about the microphone. I met Ruth and Canary kind of early 2000. I received a call from Ruth. She wanted to apply for a grant at the Department of Health. And in doing so, the goal was to incorporate physical activity in the daily lives of young children. So when she called me, she said, we are going to do this, and we are going to do that. So, she's laughing already. So we applied for the grant, we received the grant, and I outlined what I was going to do, and they said, okay, well, let us know when you are ready to do your report. And I thought, The report, when I tell you these two women will make you strong, they will make you strong because they will make you work. You will either sink or you will swim. So I want to thank them for blessing me to swim a number of times. All right, so let's talk about the wellness circles. You've heard about them. We've mentioned them a couple of times. A couple of things about the wellness circles. They are a circle. It's an opportunity to surround a patient with information, with support, with care. And that's what we've been able to do. I came into the wellness circles as a moderator during the virtual aspect of it. But first I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the wellness circles in and of itself. Canary is a lifetime community nurse. That's what she does. She believes in the community, she supports the community, and anything that's good for the community, she's gonna make it happen. And she realized that hypertension and diabetes were two of the leading causes of illness, in Ward 7 and 8, on the other side of the river. So this is her brainchild. She wanted to make sure that we found a way to address these illnesses, but also to reach the patients in a way that would allow them to remember what they learned, that would encourage every patient to actually participate in their own health. And that's a major thing, because you know how you go to the doctor and the doctor spends 15 minutes with you, and then you leave and you think, well, what did he say? What's wrong with me? Well, this is an opportunity for patients to sit with us, and the virtual side I'm talking about. The in-person was the larger forum, and I attended one of those, but I saw the same level of love. But in the virtual sphere, we were able to go into people's homes. We were able to meet one-on-one with them and talk one-on-one with them. They weren't far away. The screen was here. So I was able to see everything, and they were able to see me, and it was wonderful. So we were able to wrap them in love and talk about things that were going on in their homes. And we did have fabulous presenters. Dr. Essel is here. Hopefully, Essel, where are you? So, and we have, and he talked a lot about hypertension and diabetes. We also had a physical activity component to it. So, Ms. Kirkendall is here. And so we were doing yoga, we were doing exercises, and we had to promise our participants that they were not gonna put their feet on the back of their heads. We weren't gonna exercise like that, but we exercised. We had people that came in and talked about healthy eating and how to fix your food. So that's what the wellness circle is. I know we talk a lot about it, but to understand what it is, it's to understand that we're able to talk to someone specifically. And the patients ask questions that they were unable to get answered in the doctor's office. And that was key, because after the presentation, you would think, well, they heard, everything, but they still had questions. So that's what the wellness circle is. It's an opportunity to meet with you, talk with you, share information with you, and you can ask questions. So that was really beautiful. I have my notes here, and I talk all around them. Today we wanted to honor a couple of individuals who have participated in our wellness circles, but I want to also say that Amera Health has been a fabulous partner. This would not have happened without Amera Health saying, yes, we love our patients. Yes, we want to support them. Tell us how you want us to do it, and we'll do it with you. And they did that. They put their money where their promise was, and that's been a wonderful thing. So let's give them, I don't know, I know she had to leave, let's give them a hand. Because of the Wellness Circle, approximately 1,500 men and women have been engaged in personal educational services. So imagine in the District of Columbia, you have individuals who not only have participated themselves, but one of the things that I will say in the introduction is you are here because you care about yourself. You are here because you care about your family. You are here because you care about your future. So if you go home and you have participated, you will tell your sister or your child or your wife or your husband. and that's the goal. So today we have 4 individuals, I think they're all here. We have Judy Bond, are you here, Judy? Hello, how are you? We have Jacqueline McPherson, are you here? I see you, hi there, all righty. We have Ivy Richardson. Ivy, are you here? Oh, okay, well, that's all right, that's all right. And Mark Wellesley, I saw him earlier. He's my exercise buddy. How are you? All right, so now Ruth, do you want to, is there someone else here that has been a part of the Wellness Circle who might want to take the place of Ivy Richardson?
Yes, Denise Speed is here.
Denise Speed?
Mark Wesley is here.
Is Denise here? Hi, Denise, you wanna come up? I know this is really like you weren't planning on coming, we called your name, you've already said it, so you gotta come up now. Mark is here. Okay, so can the 4 of you please make it to the front? I just wanna talk to you a little bit about your experience in the Wellness Circle. Come on now.
As we start the next part of this program, our wonderful caterer has asked me to announce that this is the last call for the food. So if you want some more, you must please make your way judiciously back to the buffet. And can we give them a hand of thanks for their wonderful work?
It just gets better and better. Yep, so just have a seat. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna take this and stand to the side. So these are our wonderful participants. 4 of the individuals who have participated in the Wellness Circles. Oh, and you know, Ruth put these questions together because she's putting me on the spot. All right, so what I want to start off by asking each of you is, what was the most important aspect of the Wellness Circle? So we all know that everyone learned about hypertension, they learned about diabetes, they learned about eating healthy. But what I find is that when I speak to each one of you, there was something very personal that you took from your experience. So can you share what was personal with your experience with the Wellness Circle? Sorry.
Just gaining information that
There's a microphone. That's okay.
just gaining information that I sometimes don't remember to ask my doctor when I'm actually in touch.
And I know you had a binder. You kept your binder of materials. That's right. You don't have to, oh, okay. So as a part of our program this year, we were able to have information delivered to the participants. So when we met on Saturday mornings, every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock, was it 10 or 11? It felt like it was 10, but that's all right. Every Saturday morning we met, and they were faithful to attend. But then we had information sent home to everyone. They received it, what, the next day, Warner? Tuesday, okay. And Warner is our individual who sent all the information home. He carried everything, gifts from AmeriHealth, everything. So, Mark, you have your book. This was the book this is all the information that we gave out. This is information on diabetes and eating well and exercise and everything. So this is what you've been able to use. This gave you answers that the doctors did not. Thank you very much. All right. Who would like to go? Yes, right. All right. Okay, so tell me what was personal. What did you personally take away from the experience?
What I took away was I learned about my high blood pressure, my health, the way to eat, because I was eat real bad, but I learned how to eat better with no salt and no sugar, and I'm still doing that now, and I'm in another program. I kept on going after this. I think it's been 7 years, 7 years since this program, and it helped me out so much. And now I got my family. My family's eating better, and I'm eating better too. And I'm in another program, which is up there on Denver Street, Hillcrest Center. And I go on Zoom on Tuesdays to learn about different things, the same thing, you know. it's pre-diabetes, but we was, with this program, with the SHI, we were having pre-diabetes and, high blood pressure. So I've been learning different things, and I think this program that encouraged me and my family to eat much better and healthier. And, everything, that's what I get out of it. And then I just kept on going, so I'm still in this program I'm in today. And that's what helped me with my health and to give me strength. And I went over the notes, like I said, he have his notes, I have my notes about it, but it helped me out so much. And I just thank the leaderness of Ruth and the other leaders, and the ones that encouraged me, which was Marvina and Darlene Jameson. They encouraged me to keep going, and I kept going, and I'm still going. So I just thank you for the program that y'all had that saw me out, and I'm still going.
Very good. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well, good evening, everybody. My name's Denise. My journey was different. I used to be 302 pounds. Wow. Yes, indeed I was. I was an egg with legs. I was notified about the program through Ms. Marvina. And I took advantage of it because I had, excuse me, a series of surgeries. And in order to come down, I had to maintain exercise, a whole different lifestyle. And yes, it is a lifestyle change. And to be honest and truthful, I had a gastric bypass, and I ain't ashamed to tell anybody, okay? First of all. But piggybacking on what you said earlier about asking questions from the doctor, you know you're gonna get, what, 15, 20 minutes? And I'm a question asker, you know, and I'll grill you. So there was a lot of things I needed to learn, and I'm glad Marvina brought me on board, because over the past 2.5 years, I was in the program at the time. I learned so much about eating and diabetes and taking care of your feet, because that's very important. Heart problems, arterial sclerosis, hardening of the arteries, stroke risk. No, seriously. Stroke risk. Sometimes not taking care of your blood pressure, you know, your eyes get blurry. Every once in a while when I know my sugar is accelerated, my eyes get blurry. And sometimes if you don't take your medicine on time, that's really, really important too. But you gotta keep on moving. I had to constantly keep moving and whatnot. There was days I didn't wanna do anything, you know, I was like, look, you wanna be that way again? No. Also, a mental health component too.
Yes.
Sometimes depression can really make you overeat. I was stress eating, because I was going through a whole lot of stuff, you know, in my life. That can make you get fat, and you know, if you don't have any other outlet that's healthy, you can really get messed up. So, Miss Canary and this group, you gotta love them, I really love them. I would ask them questions. I probably would frustrate them sometimes. I think I talk too much and whatnot. But it was about your health. You know, this is not a joke. This is life or death. And I had, earlier this year, I had COVID, and it scared me to death. Because like I said, I'm having seizures now, thank you. I'm on medication, but I'm trying to maintain. And I'm telling you, if you don't have help, and I see people creeping around the bus all the time. They're in wheelchairs, walkers and stuff. I think at a certain point, if somebody would approach them, look, you can do better. Let me help you. Some people are scared to ask for the help. It's all up here. You gotta ask for the help. I got tired of being tired and sick and tired.
There you go. There you go.
I'm too young to be sitting around here all folded up and creased and whatnot. I got a lot of life to live. And you gotta be healthy, you know, get in the game. So, taking care of my health probably added maybe 20 years to my life. Possibly. And I'm not no runner or jogger or anything, but we fall off the wagon sometimes, but I do know the basic principles of eating properly.
There you go. There you go.
So that's what I want to say. That's
Thank you. Give us your spin on it. I know you have a lot to say.
I don't have a lot to say, but my name is Jacqueline, and like her, I came through Malvina, and this program helped me out a lot because it gave me an out. I was depressed a lot. I stayed in the house a lot. It got me out the house.
There you go.
It gave me somewhere to go, something to do, something to look forward to. And I stayed around. I know they probably I got a business. Because at the end of the day, helping cleaning up, I'm staying there, helping them with their stuff, helping to the car. I just stayed to the end of the day, every single day, every time they came. But it taught me a lot. It's like she said about the feet. I didn't know about that. We got mirrors to show you the bottom of your feet, check your feet. I got blood pressure cuff. I got a lot of information. I got a chance to bring my daughter. She got to learn things. We learned how to cook, check calories. I mean, the class was awesome for me, you know. So I just say that anybody who don't take a chance and just go take a class, and it's free, and you get information, you know, I don't understand why some people don't go. You know, and it doesn't make sense because it's a lot of good information.
Well, one
Especially
thing
when
that
you
we
got
have to-
doctors and nurses there
That's
giving you
right.
the information. They took your blood pressure, they took your weight, they did a lot. We had yoga classes, we had all kinds of good things, you know, and then you had good incentives they gave you. They gave you gifts.
And that was
You
through
know.
AmeriHealth. AmeriHealth helped
So-
out a
Thank
whole
you,
lot.
Mary Helen.
I just feel it was a wonderful class.
Thank you.
And I came every time until they kicked me out. No, it wasn't they kicked me out. It's just they
I
needed
know.
new people. They just really needed new people to come in and
Right.
learn,
That's right.
like I did.
Right. Well, one of the, and thank you for that. One of the things that we have to share is that AmeriHealth will canvass their patient roster. So these are not just random individuals. These are individuals who AmeriHealth has identified who might want to participate because they are struggling with either high blood pressure or diabetes. And so they have the opportunity to say yes or no. So the beautiful thing is you have individuals who you may normally think, well, you know, they must not care. They're going through health issues, but they do care. But it took AmeriHealth to reach out and say, would you like to be a part of this program? So I want to thank you all so much also for saying yes, because you didn't have to say yes. So thank you so much for saying yes. So the questions we have here, Jacqueline, you pretty much explained why you come back.
That's me.
How?
I'm down.
Okay, let me turn this way. Okay, so I understand why you came back. You came back because it was helpful. You came back because it gave you companionship. You came back because you were learning a lot. You were successful. And that's all because of Shire and the work that Shire does. And I thank you so much for that. Ivy is not here, but did you receive an award from Shire? You did? And so tell me how that made you feel, feeling an award.
Oh my God, I really accomplished something because, you know, it's very seldom that when you, oh, Lord, I'm sorry. It's very seldom that you do something positive for yourself. It being that you do have to do this for yourself,
Yes,
not
you
for
do.
nobody else.
That's right,
And
that's
people
right.
do a lot of things to impress other people. But I had to do it for myself. And it took me a long time to get to this point. So basically, it was a major accomplishment for me,
Okay.
personally. I felt like I really achieved something because, like I said, this was over a 30-year journey to get to where I am now.
Mhm.
Like I said, it was horrible. I'm telling you, I was not doing right.
Okay. So it made you feel empowered.
Yeah, you can say that.
It made you feel like you accomplished something.
Yes, I did. Mhm.
And- Okay, so and when they hugged you and embraced you, it made you feel wonderful.
Oh, I was so warm inside.
That's so nice.
Yes, I was.
That is wonderful.
Right.
So Judy, we understand that you have continued to do things to support your own health. You're a real ambassador for sharing health information with others. Did you experience something in the wellness circles that motivated you to continue and to share? What makes you share? What makes you tell other people about it?
Well, it make me, share, it make me share because I know that a lot of people don't, like older people, or people in my neighborhood, didn't really, you know, yeah, I'll come, you know, sometimes, but they didn't wanna come. But I, even right to the day, I share them, and they come to my apartment, and I've learned a lot of different recipes, from what I'm doing now about, coughing and, there's some other things, there's some other recipes, but I know I've been doing the recipes is different for me because I'm by myself now, so I've been learning how to cook for myself and not for others. And it's just a spirit. I mean, I guess I'm drawn to people or something. I don't know what it is.
You just love to share.
Yeah, so.
And now you have something real good to share.
Yeah. So I share my information with them so I know that they can get better. You know, in this neighborhood, you know, there's a lot of older people, there's a lot of young people. I mean, I talk to anybody. I mean, I talk to strangers and everything and talk about different things. But for this program, you know, that I'm going through now, we have, I have an iPad. We get on the iPad on Mondays or Fridays, and then on Tuesdays we get on there for to learn different things about our health, how to eat, how to exercise, how to do everything. So it's a good program, and I try to get a lot of people in it, and some of them couldn't get in it, and I'm still continuing, you know, searching, you know, if I see somebody say, maybe they want to get in the program, so I'll just, you know, just meet absolutely strangers sometimes, and ask them they want to get in the program that I'm in today.
Well, that is wonderful. That's very wonderful. Thank you. So Mark, you are my exercise buddy. We were doing jumping jacks and bending over and rolling around, and Mark was so busy. But the one thing that we noticed about you is that you were so intensely diligent about keeping your notes. You made sure that every week you showed us what you have. So what I'd like to ask you is, how are you going to use your notebook going forward? So let's say it's 5 years from now, and we're not on stage anymore, and we're not all eating together anymore. How are you gonna keep doing that?
I guess basically to just use it as a resource to see what I should and should not be doing, because like most people, I was doing a lot of the wrong things, like, you know, a bag of potato chips was dinner.
Okay.
Don't judge. Still, you know.
No, I've done it, don't worry, I'm good. Go ahead.
So, you know, and because, you know, hypertension, you don't always feel anything.
Right.
You don't think it's a big deal. Like there'll be times when I'm notified, I ain't taking that, I don't feel like taking that, because, you know, it was just another pill to avoid because I have other issues. I suffer from depression, so I, you know, have to take medication for that, and that was like another pill to take. So I'll use this as a resource.
Okay. Okay. And that is a key element there because, again, you have to want to do that. You have to want to be better. You have to want to use what is available to you. So you have that book there, and all of you have the notes. And I want to, on behalf of Shire and everyone here, I want to thank you first for being so transparent. That's one thing that we did notice on virtual, when we've been in people's bathrooms, been in closets. We've had some very intimate moments together. But I thank you all for being so transparent and for sharing so clearly, because you've got to realize a lot of people here, they contribute and they support, but to really understand what their contributions will do and how beneficial the programs are, it makes a big, big difference. So can we give them a round of applause? Thank you so much. Ruth, am I done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. All right. You can return to your seats. Can we give them another hand while they're back? Thank you. Marsha?
Sure, there's nothing like walking, talking examples of what Shire has done. Ruth, I think the wellness service is so high for your efforts. Everybody's executive. Thank you all so much. Now we're going to have a special greeting, a 25th anniversary greeting from Dr. Dwayne Proctor.
Good evening, everyone. I am really excited to congratulate my friend, Dr. Ruth Perot and Shire as they celebrate this wonderful milestone. I remember when I first met Dr. Ruth and learned about Shire while visiting my hometown, Washington, D.C. Shire and its leadership are committed to representing our powerful communities that have been under-resourced and in other ways systemically discriminated against. Ruth and I have always agreed that health and well-being should be human rights, and we committed to using our talents as social scientists to create systems that support well-being for families and communities regardless of their zip codes. Our work together has contributed to the innovative ways that reductions in childhood obesity rates are measured to better improve physical activity and food access environments across the nation. I am now using science and the best available data to improve health and well-being at Missouri Foundation for Health, where our core values are equity, commitment, humility, and integrity. All things I learned while working with Shire. I know my work in the Show Me State will continue to parallel the efforts of Shire for the next 25 years, and I'm really happy to be able to congratulate you, Ruth, on this wonderful milestone.
Hear from our Executive Director, Ruth Perot, along with, she'll be rejoining us, Sheila Thorne, one of our board members.
Evening again. I know you have enjoyed hearing from those whose lives have been affected by a chronic disease. And obviously the Wellness Circle has accomplished much and touched many lives thanks to Shire's planning, persistence, preparation, and prayer. There's no doubt that as we continue to move forward in the work that we do, be it with your organizations, with you individually, or with Shire, for the next iteration, the next session of what Shire is going to accomplish for those who are underserved and underrepresented. And definitely Ruth Perot's guidance and strength and resilience and persistence has enabled us to come this far. So inspiring for the future means all of us must take up the charge to help anyone who is underserved, unrepresented, especially communities of color, and especially those of African descent, to take charge and control of their health. Many of you know the symbol Sankofa, which is an ancient symbol from West Africa. It's a bird that looks forward and at the same time looks back. And as leaders in the community, we always want to look forward. Yes, we've accomplished a lot, but there is much more work to do. So we only look back in order to bring forward what has worked, what we have learned, and how we can continue on the fight. The arc of advocacy, hopefully in healthcare, will bend towards justice. We've had some landmark experiences over the last 2 decades, but we must keep the fight in front of us. We must know that we must be persistent, we must prepare, and we must be prayerful. So it has been my distinct honor to work with Shire and work with Ruth Perot over the last 20 years, 25 years. We were reminiscing the other day, but we still are in the fight. We still must keep moving forward because we long for the day when people of African descent put health first in its rightful place. So with that, I'm going to list or call out the names of some individuals who would like to share briefly their experience with Shire before we close for the evening. Will these individuals, if you are in the audience, please stand so that Ruth can recognize you and you can give your thoughts. Donnie Shaw, Director of Community Relations, DC YMCA of Metropolitan Washington. Michelle Adair Tingling Clemens is a lifelong activist for social justice, former program director for the DC Department of Health. Dr. Kofi Essel, attending physician, Children's National Hospital and assistant professor, George Washington University School of Medicine and Health Sciences. Luis Berlin, the president and CEO of the National Health IT Collaborative for the Underserved, or as we call it, NHIT. Ambrose Lane Jr. is chair and founder of the DC Health Alliance Network and host of To the East radio program on WPFW. Jeanette Notenius, co-founder of Out of Many One and cultural ambassador for the El Salvadoran community, and former head of the Latino Council on Alcohol and Tobacco. It is my great pleasure to have been a part of this program virtually. I absolutely feel the warmth and the love in the room, and I pray that all of you return home safely and be well. Thank you again. Good night.
I have to say this, I have a team, you know, nobody does all this by themselves. And I cannot go another step further without acknowledging the team. And so I'm gonna ask everybody who's ever worked for Shire to stand up. And I'm going to call the names of the immediate team, and then everybody else who has worked, just shout your name out there as well, because I can't see you, you know that. All right, so Canary Gerardo. Senior Program Associate. Natai Wright, you just met. Senior Associate. Dawn Coben. Program Manager. Monica Poe has been greeting you outside. Administrative consultant. And now I'm going to shift to the folks to really make it happen. Marvina Austin. Senior peer educator, Darlene Jameson. She had to go, but, you know, we send her our love. And the man with the money who delivers it every week, Warner Smith. And I have to acknowledge my niece who's been managing the PowerPoint, Chelsea Keller over there. And I'm going to ask anybody, where's Anthony? Anthony Knight, I know, is you still in the room?
No, he's outside.
Okay, Jennifer Muhammad? Oh, they had to go. Okay, if anyone else has ever worked for Shire and hasn't had their name called, please stand up. Tell us. I don't want to miss it. Who? Stacy Thompson? Yes. Yes. Is Kat Blake still here?
Am I here?
Yeah, Kat Blake?
She just left.
She just left. Okay. You see, we have a full family, and they're all capable, competent, and smart as heck. And work hard because they follow the example of their leader. They work hard. Lois Bowman, Lois, yes. And of course, Denise Speed has worked for us in staff capacity too. Okay, so you know, they're the wind beneath our wings. They're the wind beneath our wings. Without them, we would be nothing, and I certainly wouldn't be anything. But I'd also want to take this opportunity to call on some friends and partners. I mean, I wish I could call on everybody in this room, because you've all been friends, you've all been partners, we've all done things together, but then we'd be here until midnight. I can't do that. But I have asked certain people to share their thoughts for 3 minutes each, and one said they could go 30, but no. I'm going to ask Donnie Shaw to get us started. Donnie, would you come on, talk to us a little bit? How do you know Shire, and what do you think you should be doing going forward?
Well, I blame it on people like Michelle Tingling Clemens and Joni Eisenberg, who I met down at Freedom Plaza one year when I think Bush was in his last term, and he had a caravan going around the country speaking health. And I told them about the PhD program that we had that was underwritten by Care First, and that stands for Physical, Healthy, and Driven. And our MO was to get kids to learn new eating habits, be physically fit, and we would keep data. And that matched up with Canary and Shire, who I used to nickname them as our Black Brookings Institute. But I was the aquatics director at the Y down off of 17th Street back then. And I provided them access on Saturdays to a program called Passport, where the kids would come every Saturday. Something about them Saturdays. Every Saturday, I had to be there. They would bring them kids in any kind of vehicle that had wheels. And they would crawl out of those cars like a VW commercial. It'd be like 30 of them in a car. And they would come in the Y, and they would do everything from wall climbing to basic swim lessons and water safety, of course, because I ran the pool. And they would play racquetball. We would just let them have carte blanche at the Y. Anybody been to the Y on 17th Street back in the day? You know that was like a white ivory tile. It was known for being very expensive. But we changed that. We made sure our kids got a piece of that pie. So that's it. That's
We love and appreciate you, sir. And he mentioned Michelle Tingling Clemens. And of course, Michelle knows us well too. So Michelle, can you tell us a little bit about why you know us, how you know us?
Hi. Well, when I was at the Department of Health, I was the, what was that called? I'm sorry, I can't remember what the titles were they gave us, but I was a bureau chief, that's what it is. I was a bureau chief for physical fitness and nutrition. And so we ran for the Department of Health, we ran a number of nutrition programs, mostly farmers market and senior feeding programs, both farmers market senior and regular farmers market. And we also ran CSFP. We ran all the nutrition programs that the Department of Health had. Well, one of the things that we did, Joni and I had the opportunity to be able to guide a number of possible funding that we had. And Shire was the first group that we gave a significant amount of funding to. And Joni kept saying, Jesse Barber said to me, no matter what you do, always remember Shire. Don't forget about Shire. It took me about a year to remember that Shire was Summit Health Institute for Research and Education. But in the meantime, you know, after I got past the fact that they were focusing on research, my view of research was that generally it meant that there were people coming to our communities that were going to interview us, and then they get all the funding to report back what we already know. We don't get the jobs, we don't get any of the benefits from it. But Shire wasn't about just research for research's sake. Shire was research that made a difference. Shire was research for action. And I said, well, finally, somebody is making research mean something to me. So then that made it, you know, so, but Shire was a group that, one of the things I remember is that they had a peer counseling program where they hired teens. They got teens out of the community and they trained them in the area of nutrition. And then they went out and they sold it to their peers. And that was, I mean, that's a model that a lot of different groups are using now, and some were using then. But that was, I mean, one of the things that to me, Shire meant that they were taking research out of the boardrooms and the ivory towers, and they were putting it in a place where we the people could make use of it to make the changes in our lives. Because we've already realized that we can't count on our government to do what it is we need to. You know, they haven't come up with a policy yet to end poverty, only ones that help to aggravate it and escalate it. So we know they're not trying to do those based on our interests. But Shire believed, and Shire made me believe, that you could actually take research and you could use it for the benefit of the people. So to me, Shire, for that reason, Shire's 25 years have not been in vain. And what they taught us and what other people learned, you know, these are things that we want to keep going. So thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Love you too. Kofi, Dr. Kofi Essel knows us well. How do you know us?
Transition, I like that. So I prepared some remarks, but I feel like everybody's just going from the top. So I might just go ahead, remarks away. Okay, so it's an honor to stand in front of you all today to talk about the role that Shire has played in my life and how it's played such a great role in our local community as well. I came to DC from Little Rock, Arkansas. I grew up in Little Rock, went to Little Rock Central High School, came to DC, started medical school at George Washington University. I came here with this mentality in medical school that they tell you gotta go and fix stuff. You gotta go and just change the world. So I came in here with that mentality. I gotta go and fix everybody, right? And I didn't realize that my focus was really looking at the deficits, the weaknesses, the challenges, the barriers. And I didn't really recognize that all my mindset, everything they were teaching us was to focus on these little gaps. When I met Shire, the leadership team in 2007, it changed everything for me. It changed my complete posture to how I engage with my patients, my families, my community, and it changed everything for me. And I think that that was a critical piece to really directing me to where I am today. I think of three main things that I learned from this relationship with Shire, with Ruth, with Kinnair, with the entire team. I'll just highlight those. I'll take another 30 seconds if that's okay, John. All right, so the first lesson that I learned was this lesson of humility. And I think that that was really huge, right? The idea that my role needed to be a little different. I don't care what they were teaching you in the school. One of the quotes that Ruth actually shared with me years ago when I was in medical school, she said this: never get confused with the word MD, the title MD you're gonna be getting in the title. Never get confused to believe that title means medical deity. Don't believe yourself to be some supreme being, right? The reality is we have to recognize our role in medicine. It's not to look over people, but to walk alongside people on the journey. And I think that that was critical, and again, it changed my posture and how I engage my patients. Number two, the second lesson I learned was meaning and purpose. You know, one of the things that I often think about is how many of you all love your people? Can I just see a show of hands? Right. So I love my people as well, right? I love my community. I love my patients and my families. And one of the things that I've learned that we don't like is our time being wasted. One of the quotes that a famous poet said is, "Ain't nobody got time for that." and that spoke to the journey. The reality of what I learned with working with Canary and Ruth and the whole team at Shire is that the idea of bringing meaning and purpose to events, to programs, was transformative. I talk about this around the country all the time. I travel around the country, I talk to people, and they're like, "Hey, I can't get anybody to come to my events." I tell them, I say, "You should meet this group that I work with in DC. They do this the right way. They've been investing in communities for years. They've been investing in building trust for years. And as a result, people come to their programs. People come back to their programs. This was life-changing to the academic centers when they realized, hey, you can do this a different way where you're not leaning on yourselves, but actually empowering or allowing those who are in the community being the experts of their own health to take lead. And that was critical. And then the last lesson I wanted to highlight was the importance of excellence. I'll tell a quick story if that's okay. Ruth and Kinnair, you probably don't remember. I gotta be quick. Okay, last time. It's a good story too. I'll leave the story out. But all right, so the importance of excellence, right? I think that that was a critical piece. Nowadays, my role as a physician, as a community pediatrician in DC, I get a chance to transform the health of my patients and families, but how so? It's not only by the things that I'm doing in the clinical setting or in the wellness circles, which I've seen so many of you all at, but I get a chance every year to speak to hundreds of medical students and talk to them about these seeds that were planted in me, these seeds of humility, these seeds of meaning and purpose, and most importantly, these seeds of excellence. I appreciate Shire, and I thank you all for your time.
I hate to bear the good news and the bad news. The good news is we have more to hear from, and the bad news is we're supposed to be out of here soon. So I guess I'll ask everyone has an important story. I really hate to do this, but can we kind of keep it in the 3-minute range, or 2 even better? And know that we want to acknowledge the fact that we've been here a little longer than we're supposed to, but it's been worth it, right? Okay, so I'm going to ask at this point Luis Belen to come up. Luis is one of my adopted sons, partly because he is my adopted son. So, but not 30 minutes, please.
Actually, I was the one who prepared the 30-minute speech. but let me tell you, I run this national organization called the National Health IT Collaborative for the Underserved. But it's not an organization that I started. It was an organization that your father started, that Ruth started, Dr. Davis, and I remember the first time that I walked into that conference room in 2010. NHIT was launched on June 8, 2008. But in 2010, it was when I met Ruth and Dr. Davis. And I walked in and I saw the work that they were doing. I had my own company, and they gave me the opportunity to work with NHIT to lead projects around the country, including the one that we did in Houston, to make sure that providers were adopting electronic health records. Fast forward to 2014, and Ruth gave me the opportunity to take on the baton. But what I like to say, and I tell folks, and when I do my presentations, I have those pictures of June 8, 2008. And I tell folks, I walk in the shoulders of giants like Ruth, giants like Dr. Davis. So on Monday, when I walk into the White House, it's because of their work. And I just have the opportunity to continue that work. So I'm gonna cut my 30-minute speech short, but that's in essence what I do. I run a national organization, but every day that I walk in, what folks don't understand is that I have prayer warriors behind me, I have amazing leaders behind me, mentors, and she has adopted me as her son.
Ambrose Lane Jr. One and only again, major force in this community for health. And Ambrose, you have something to share that how we came together, perhaps?
He already said what I was gonna say. And if you all don't know Dr. Kofi Essel, y'all need to know Dr. Kofi Essel. He is a straight up rock star. And sitting over there, trying to be incognito, is Dr. Yolanda Hancock, who is also a rock star. And I have worked with them, and it was because of Shire that I came to work with them. So, you know, when we, oh, my wife and my son right here. They done snuck up on me. So I met Ruth when I was working at Marshall Heights Community Development Organization. And as I left the Marshall Heights Community Development Organization, I created what is now known as the Health Alliance Network. Health Alliance Network right now is the largest community-based health advocacy group in the district. Ruth and Shire and other people in this room were at the first meetings that we had. They supported me from the very beginning. And and even Karen Dale was here, there are others that are here, and they inspired me to do a number of things. I'm now a master trainer for chronic disease management out of the Stanford University. That was inspired by Shire. I was the citywide chronic disease chair collaborative. That was inspired by the work that they did before me. So when we talk about standing on the shoulders of those that came before us, generally we talk about it in terms of our ancestors. You know, the ones that came before us that have now passed along, we stand on their shoulders. You hear it a lot in civil rights. But we also got to deal with giving the flowers to people while they're still here. And we still stand, on their shoulders. We stand on their shoulders while they are living. You know, I cannot describe how many conversations I've had either with Canary or with Ruth. And Ruth still calls me about grants. I'm just letting you, she will call me about a grant in a hot minute. That's why I'm so glad my wife is up here, because she will tell me that I need to wrap it up. But we stand on the shoulders of those, not just those that are deceased, but those that are still here with us. And when we walk through the journey of life and we become enlightened and self-aware, we have to acknowledge that we stand on their shoulders too. That's all I want to say.
Thank you so much, Ambrose. And we've been told that we have to leave the room, but I can't do that without Jeanette Martinez having the final word. And I guess my final word is thank you, thank you, thank you for all you've done to support us, all the love we felt this evening. And I'm gonna let that be the final word and ask Jeanette to give the final word. And thank you for coming. We do have to leave as soon as she finishes, so it's been an honor and a pleasure, and we do love you very, very much.
And we love you, Ruth, and I'm here because Ruth, we have talked about the impact in people's lives right here in Ward 7 and 8. What I want to say is that without Ruth, the Congressional Black Caucus and all of the other caucuses on the Hill would not have learned to work together. That's right. I think with her and her leadership, after having Summit Health Coalition turning into creating Shire, we started working together in what ended up being, out of many one, a multi-ethnic coalition to achieve health equity. And just to tell you that not only the impact that she had in terms of IT, but without Ruth's work and out of many one, we would not have the data on racial and ethnic indicators so that we could measure whether we're making progress or not. So it was that kind of vision of saying, no, without the data, we will not know where we are 20 years from now. So just to give you two examples of what she has achieved, and also Russell, out of many one, and that's why you saw Hardy Spoor, Dave Baldridge, and Jeff Caballero, all still definitely supporting out of many one. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Russell. And thank you, Shire, for this marvelous contribution.
And thank you all for coming. Thank you. And let's remember that maybe not another 25 years for me, but prayerfully another 25 years for Shire.
Amen.